This Matthews. Alright, thank you and welcome. Today we are proceeding, and I believe we are on relation analysis, right?
Yes.
Alright. Yes, Yvonne. How are you? You're quiet. You don't feel well? Alright, so you write the heading, relation analysis. Relation analysis. So you write like say you write Alexander and you note 2004 Alexander and not NOBES Alexander and North 2004. Alexander and North 2004 explains that a number comma, in isolation, a number, comma, in isolation is not a very helpful piece of information. Is not a very helpful piece of information. Not a very helpful piece of information. For example, sales last year were 2 million. For example, sales last year were $2 million, comma, or that's semicolon. What information does this give? What information does this give? What information does this give? Without knowledge of the exchange rate, I'll say, what information does it give? Question mark. So you continue there. Without knowledge of the exchange rate between the home currency and other currencies. Home currency with other currencies. No comparison with home sales is possible. No comparison with home sales is possible. Here there is possible. We'll continue there. You write comparison is the key. Comparison is the key. Full stop. A ratio is potentially a very powerful tool. A ratio is potentially a very powerful tool. A ratio is potentially a very powerful tool. A ratio is potentially a very powerful tool, but it is also a very simple one. Full stop. A ratio is a number divided by another. Here there. Ratio is one number divided by another, full stop. So right, if the total Malawian market for a product, if the total of Malawian market for a product, if the total of Malawian market for the product is 400 million, kwacha, then the ratio of sales by the company to its total home market is 20 20 to 400. That is, we are comparing with the 20 million there. We proceed there. For the rest of the current, sorry, don't write that. Let's go to the 3 points. So you write the following are some of the relations. The following are some of the relations to understand and interpret. To understand and interpret the following, some of the relations to understand and interpret the information provided, to interpret the information provided, to understand and interpret the information provided in the financial report. So we start with profitability analysis. Profitability analysis. So there, we write the following. Profit making is the key target. Profit making is the key target. Profit making is the key target of companies. Is a key target for the companies. To be profitable and maximize the wealth. To be profitable and maximize the wealth. To be profitable and maximize the wealth of the owners. 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 In the medium and long term. Put a column there. We use the profitability ratios. We use the profitability ratios to investigate. We use the profitability ratios to investigate if these ends all targets are achieved from the owner's point of view. From the owner's point of view. From the owner's point of view. The return for their investment. The return for their investment is calculated. The return for their investment is calculated by dividing the net profit. Is calculated by dividing the net profit. Is calculated by dividing the net profit. By dividing the net profit by the EBIT. So what do you do there? Divide ROI, which is the return on equity. This is what? Net profit divided by equity. Net profit divided by equity. Net profit divided by equity. So what we are looking there is that when we're talking of this kind of analysis, whenever we try, as we say, owners, they are always looking for, say, what profit are they making? So to understand the profit that they are making, we look at the amount of money that they have invested. So this is their capital, and this is the money that has been invested to generate this profit. So the question is, we have to do this relation. We need to understand whether the profit that the business is generating is reasonable or not. Because what we're looking at is, these owners, they're looking forward to save us when as they produce or as they make profits day in, day out. Let's proceed there. After that evaluation, you continue writing with this. A more detailed aspect, a more detailed aspect, a more detailed aspect, a more detailed aspect of the profitability of the entity, a more detailed aspect of the profitability, a more detailed aspect of the profitability of the entity, of the profitability of the entity, explores the amount of weight, explores the amount of weight, explores the amount of weight, explores the amount of weight that the entity has created, that the entity has created, that the entity has created, that the entity has created by using the resources, by using the resources made available, by using the resources made available for its operation, made available for its operation, equity and long-term liabilities, equity and long-term liabilities, equity and long-term liabilities are used to capture, employed by the company to produce, are used by the company to produce profits, to produce profits, to produce profits, to produce profits through the use of the assets purchased. Full stop there. Full stop there. Hence, formula for capital employed is, so in this case, now we're trying to understand, we look at here, we're talking of the investment here, we're talking of equity. We are only looking at the capital that has actually been produced or been given by the owners of the company. But so often, you find that the capital that the business might be having may not be sufficient for a particular investment. And what the owners of the business would always do is to go outside and seek for loans so that they can support or they can finance the investment that they are up to. So what we look now is, we look at doing an investment where you'll be combining with equity plus those amounts that you have actually borrowed. So you write capital employed is equal to capital employed is equal to the total of equity plus long-term or long-term liabilities. So if you look here, that means in this case, now the capital shall be what owners have contributed and more than from outside so that after they support the business. And at the very same time, you may also look at capital employed as total assets minus current liabilities. Also, capital employed should be total assets less current liabilities. total assets less liabilities. So, in this case, as I already explained last time, the time I was introducing, or we started by looking at the statements that we need to be looking at or focusing as we try to interpret or analyze. So we are saying also when you look at the capital employed, by looking, we said it's the combination of what others have contributed and what they have borrowed, but you may also look at capital employed as total assets, you put current liabilities rather. Current liabilities, right? Current liabilities. When we talk current liabilities, we are looking at short-term loans that actually you are likely to pay within 12 months or within the normal course of doing business. So, in this case, you are just taking out all what needs to be paid or needs to be settled within the shortest period of time, so that you just only have what exactly belongs to you. So we proceed there. So you say, hence the formula for return on capital employed is, hence the formula for return on capital employed, ROCE, on capital employed is equal to operating capital is equal to operating profit divided by capital employed. Operating profit divided by capital employed. Capital employed. So when you look at loss and ROE, these are the same. They try to understand the gain that will be achieved by the investment that will be made. But if you look at the difference between these two, here we are looking at the capital employed as both the capital that has been contributed by the owner and the capital that has been borrowed or that has been contributed by outsiders. But also the capital employed here, we are looking at both equity and liabilities. So when we try to understand or we see whether we are trying to achieve what we like to achieve, we should be able to see that wherever this capital has been provided or has been invested, we should be able to produce the profit that will compensate for what the owners have sacrificed. Here, that means the profit that we have here should be able to give some profit to the owners, and at the very same time be able to pay what for these liabilities that the company is there to pay or to honor. We there. So proceed, you may skip right there and write this. Whether you decide to use operating profit, whether you decide to use operating profit, whether you decide to use operating profit, including whether you decide to use operating profit, including exceptional events, whether you decide to use operating profit, including exceptional events, you prefer to stick with the underlying performance. You prefer to stick with the underlying performance. That is the performance that does not consider. The exceptional event is discontinued ratios. The following ratios are important as well. The following ratios are important as well. For the assessment of an organization's profitability. The first one is gross margin or gross margin ratio. Like gross margin or gross margin ratio. So if you look at gross margin ratio, what you need to do there is revenue less cost of goods sold. Revenue, that is revenue less cost of goods sold. Revenue less cost of goods sold. Now this is divided by revenue. Alright, if you look at revenue less cost of goods sold, in short, what is it? Martin? Revenue less cost of goods sold. What does that mean?
Revenue, I think it's the small income after the business.
After the business is sold, right? Yeah. So here, this in short is nothing but the gross profit. You remember what we know last time, right? Yeah. So gross profit divided by revenue. So you're just trying to compare, say, the money that you are generating through buying and selling. Is it wasted? You understand that? So it's like you'll be able to understand the relevance of the money that you are generating. Then the other one you have operating ratio. Operating ratio, which is operating expense divided by operating expenses divided by net sales. So when you talk of operating expenses divided by net sales, what we can compare there in as far as profitability ratios are concerned, that we should be able to see whether the sales that we are making or the money that we are generating will be able to cover what? Operating expenses or not. A good example, if we have a ratio which is 1 plus negative operating expenses are more than what? Net sales. If operating expenses are more than net sales, negative, the business is not doing better. Because whatever you are producing, you are not even covering up what? The expenses that you incur. But if you have a ratio which is, in this case, which is less than 0 or 0 point something, that means you are able to produce more sales that can support or that can finance the expenses that you are incurring. A good example, let's look at this institution. If probably the money that they collect from you is unable to pay for those people who are helping you, then definitely that means the business is not producing enough. Are you following? Before I following? Right. So when we talk of these ratios, we try to understand or to have a deeper understanding of what the information is presenting. Then also we look at return on equity. Return on equity. Net income return on equity. So we have net income divided by shareholders' equity. Shareholders' equity. Shareholders' equity. So here we are comparing the amount that we have earned after taking care of all other expenses and responsibilities that the business could be having, is what owners they contributed. So in other words, you're just going to say the owners or the shareholders benefiting from their investment. So we should be able to say here the amount that the business has generated is able to pay for these shareholders. Shareholders normally they are paid for their investment through what? Dividends, right? So if here we have any ratio which is 1+, that means these owners are able to what? Are able to get paid for their investment. But if we are having a situation where we have 0 point something or less than 0, that means the profit that we are making, we are unable to pay what? The owners. The owners of the company, they are not getting anything from the capital that they invested, or they are getting nothing from the investment that they made. So write this on down here after this. You write the interpretation of the ratios above depends. The interpretation of the ratios above depends. The interpretation of the ratios above depends. The interpretation of the ratios above depends on the nature of the company's operations and strategy. Depends on the nature of the company's operations and strategy. Then we also look at another thing, something a little bit different. So we have solidity and solvency. Solidity and solvency. Solidity and solvency. So when we look at solidity and solvency, what we are looking at or what we are focusing at, we look at what is called the gearing, the composition of the capital itself. So when we are forming capital for the business, in short, we're talking of capital structuring. The sources of the capital to any business, there are two. We talk of equity and what? Liabilities, debts, ngongole. So definitely, when we talk of solvency here, we try to understand the gearing or the structuring itself of the capital. Even in a normal talking, we have very big ways: solidity, solvency, liquidity, and what have you, right? Liquidity is something that can dissolve. Solvency, it dissolves, but it takes time, right? A good example may talk of a parcel, you talk of product, you can put it in water. It will dissolve, but not instantly. Whereas this one, it does not. So right, this and that. Under solidity and solvency, right, the relationship between long-term liabilities and equity. The relationship between long-term liabilities and solvency is called gearing. It's called gearing. It's called gearing. It is called gearing. It is measured by the following formula. It is measured by the following formula. So you have gearing is equal to long-term liability divided by equity. Long-term liability divided by equity. Long-term liability divided by equity. So as I already said, we look at the composition of the capital, where we say capital would be from the amount that can borrow from others in the amount that can actually contribute by ourselves. So in this case, what belongs to outsiders and what belongs to the company. Now if you look at this kind of ratio, if we have a ratio of greater than 1 or 1 plus, that means there is too much of what? Liability than equity. So if there is too much liability than equity, that means owners of the company, they do not necessarily have what? Much control over the company. Because at the same time, they can come, these lenders, those who lend the money, they can come and take over the business. And for ratios like this, if you have this kind of stuff, it will take time for the owners to have what? Fruits from the business that they have started. So, here, that's what we understand. If we have a ratio of, what would be? 0 point, right? So if you have 0 point, that means we have more equity than liabilities. Which means that as the business really belongs to the equity shareholders, to the owners of the company. The owners of the company, all the shareholders, they do have more control over the business than outsiders. Inside that, even Timogore Medina at Saudat at Malaysia. Alright, then also we have something like, you look at proprietary ratio. Proprietary ratio. With the proprietary ratio. Proprietary ratio. And under proprietary ratio, you write shareholders' equity divided by total tangible assets. Shareholders' equity is total. Shareholders' equity. Shareholders' equity divided by total tangible assets. Total tangible assets divided by total tangible assets. Divided by total tangible assets. Alright, so we proceed there. Right? It can be argued, A-R-G-U-E-D. It can be argued that the higher the gearing, it can be argued that the higher, it can be argued that the higher the gearing, the better. It can be argued that the higher the gearing, the better it is for shareholders. The better it is for shareholders. The better it is for shareholders due to the multiplier profitability, due to multiplier effect on the profitability. However, in the determination of the capital structure, the companies cannot ignore you there? The companies cannot ignore the fact that the higher gearing increases the risk of the entity. The higher gearing increases the risk of the entity, as there is a commitment to higher debt. Both principal and interest. That is, here a higher gearing ratio. You talk of a ratio of 1+, right? That means the company has got more and by having more liabilities, it's risk. There will be default there. In the moment you default, definitely the liability keeps on what? Growing or increasing. So proceed there, and in fact, the best balance must be found in terms of the best balance must be found in terms of optimal capital structure. The best balance must be found in terms of optimal capital structure. So when we talk of capital structure, what do we mean? We should be able to have the best balance between debt and liabilities. Between equity and liabilities. So that whatsoever combination or mix to be, it should be to the disadvantage of the company. So I'm saying, found in terms of optimal capital structure, while the literature of that specific topic is very long